Hi, my name's Malia,
I'm Tina.
I'm Abby.
I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Kendi.
and we did our project on digital rights and responsibilities and reporting requirements for suspected child abuse. First slide is,
So we're going to talk about reporting requirements for suspected child abuse. But in order to talk about what it is, we need to know what child abuse is. So child abuse is when a parent or caregiver, whether through action or failing to act, causes injury, death, emotional harm, or risk of serious harm to a child. Because there are different requirements in different states, we chose to do Arizona. So in Arizona, any mandated reporter who reasonably believes that a minor is the victim of abuse or neglect shall report immediately to a peace officer or Child Protective Services in the Department of Economic Security. The report may be made by telephone or in person and must be followed by a written report within 72 hours. The reports shall contain the names and addresses of the minor and the minor's parents or the person having custody, the minor's age, the nature and extent of any injuries or neglect, including any evidence of previous injuries or neglect, and any other information that might be helpful. For digital rights and responsibilities, it is having the right and freedom to use all types of digital technology while using the technology in an acceptable and appropriate manner. As a user of digital technology, you also have the right to privacy and the freedom of personal expression. Within digital rights, it is the right to freedom of expression, right to privacy, right to credit for personal works, right to digital access, and right to our identity. And for digital responsibility is responsibility to report bullying, harassing, sexting, or identity theft.
One of the scenarios of digital rights and responsibility talks about a student named Jenny. She's in the 7th grade. Her school has access to iPads and laptops 2 times per week. The teacher decides when they are used in the classroom. They tend to quiz students and for them to research information when needed. They will then turn in information at the end of class, which is how the teacher notices if students are on track using technology appropriately. Jenny seems to not be turning in completed work every time they have access to iPads and laptops in class. She has been caught by the teacher not following instructions that the teacher has given her. She happens to be off topic, usually on other websites, inappropriate websites that she shouldn't be on. As a teacher, if this happens, I would give a verbal warning to Jenny. For example, "Hey Jenny, get back on track." If the problem persists, we would take away privileges of her using laptops and iPads during class.
and for a scenario on reporting requirements for suspected child abuse, student Kevin came into the classroom with some bruises on his arm. When teacher asked Kevin what had happened, he said it was an accident and that he tripped. The teacher would have believed him, but he has multiple bruises on his arm, and there has been multiple other signs that he has had child abuse in the past. He has been sleeping during class lessons, and he has been distant with his peers and teacher as well. He just isn't the same. The teacher calls to report the child abuse to child services, and a caseworker would work with the case and check up on the family to make sure that there isn't any child abuse going on in the home. If they didn't find that the child is being abused, if they did find that the child was being abused, he would either go to a group home or go into foster care. Even if there are small bruises, if there are multiple ones, we as teacher have to report it.
Alright, so the first question we came up with was, how are boundaries given to students in order to know how to use the technology appropriately? And then the second question is, what is the difference between inappropriate and appropriate digital rights and responsibilities?
Okay, and the other questions regarding suspected child abuse are, when should suspected child abuse or neglect be reported? And the second question is, where shall that report be made to? Who do you report suspected abuse or harm to?
And these are the references used in our presentation. Thank you for your time.